Is it going out on the Club Racing UK page, gents?
It is now, Rob, yes.
Go.
Shh. Keep it down.
Hello, welcome. We're back. It's season 2, episode 2 of the Club Racing UK podcast, and we've got three. Well, we were going to have three special guests with us. Oh, okay, they're all here. That's all right. That's fine. No internet issues so far. We're only 10 seconds in. Anyway, so we've got three special guests today, all of them from Mini Cooper Challenge. So we'll delve into it for our three guests today, as well as the Gruesome Twosome. So I'll introduce the Gruesome Twosome first. Nick Holmes and Stefan Marsh of Club Racing UK. How are you doing, gents?
Yo, team, how we doing?
Fantastic, fabulous. Now, the three that I'm about to introduce you today, you would have probably likely seen on ITV4 HD in their various guest drives on the Toka package, one of the many topics that we will be covering today. In Mini Challenge Cooper class, we have Bradley Gravett, Alex Nevill, and Alfie Glenie. Welcome, chaps.
Hello.
Evening. How's it going?
Evening, Chads.
Evening.
Fantastic. Unfortunately, Alex, Ed Whitehouse is watching, so that's maybe spoilt it a little bit, but we'll carry on regardless. Right, so I suppose from that, we better get on with some news, and it has been quite a mixed bag. But the first thing that's good for this podcast is we have a new logo. Check this bad boy out. Hopefully they'll put it up. Are they putting the logo up? They may put the logo up.
They may do.
I think they've seen
There we
enough.
go.
Yay! I never thought I'd be a cartoon character.
There we go. So
Who's who?
so I'm not sure, actually. Nick's the hobo on the right. Stefan's a pretty boy on the
There you
left,
go.
and I'm probably the fat one in the middle. There we go. See what we're there is the hairy one in the middle, the not quite hairy one on the left-hand side, and the chin hair on the right.
We could play like a who's hair game and like swap them around. I could
Whose
do
hair?
with something on the top. Whose hair is on it tonight?
Whose hair is on this tonight? Matt Cleary joins us this evening. Good evening, Matt Cleary. Stefan, you can't sit on
Hello.
WhatsApp. Okay.
So I'm just trying to, do the usual share it business.
Oh, fair play. So while Stefan spams the crap out of Facebook, we'll crack on with some new news. So we've got a new logo. The second bit has come across in the past couple of days, and I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to put this bluntly. A bunch of absolute twats have stolen the medical car and the safety car from Cadwell Park. Both were taken, I assume, early hours while people were off-site. They're appealing for information. If you do have any information, please contact Crime Stoppers or Lincolnshire Police. Either that or give them a damn good hiding and make it painful. But again,
The only thing that concerns me about this is somewhere down, I don't know what motorway is near Cadwell, you can have a bunch of race cars all like warming their tyres behind a safety car somewhere. Surely it can't be that hard to find it.
Can you imagine that? They're getting away down the M6. There's just this safety car, a bunch of random cars weaving, and then a medical car behind.
Yeah.
Someone actually picked the safety car. That's unbelievable.
And the medical
One of the hardest things to take.
Well, yeah.
I know, right?
Safety
Go out there and think, right, I'm going to go to Cadwell Park and we're going to steal a safety car and a medical car. Like, surely there's other things better to do with your time.
Yeah, why not just take the one? Why take both? Just take one.
Well, yeah, just,
Surely you want something a little.
It's a smart thing to do
more
because
subtle.
it's not like it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not like it can be hidden easily or anything, is it?
No, true.
Just bang the flashing lights on and cane away.
My question is, did they do a couple of laps before they left Cadwell? That's the thing.
My question is it
Did
MOT
they put a lap
insured?
in?
Is it MOT and insured?
Yeah, true.
I would assume so. Yeah, true. To be honest, I think most of the MSV fleet's all lease hire, isn't it? And they're all. I assume they have some sort of BMW deal with the relevant local dealers, and they just get it from there.
It sounds like the local dealers have taken it.
Yeah, we're talking different dealers in that end. And I
Yes,
think,
we are.
okay, moving on from that, unfortunately, gents, we also have some bad news concerning 2 BRSCC meetings. They released a statement saying, after a consultation with relevant stakeholders and after listening to numerous concerns raised by us, the BRSCC members, the club have taken the decision to cancel the above events, which is Alton Park, March the 20th, and Silverstone, March 20th and 21st. To be honest, BRSCC, they've got shareholders. They put on a meeting. They have to put some money in beforehand. If COVID cancels it, I suppose they lose it. I don't know how it works out. You've kind of been under the umbrella with MSV in the past, Alex. Would you have a rough idea?
Oh, this puts me in trouble. I don't know, to be honest. I was never high up enough or smart enough to know those kind of things. I'd imagine they'll be looking to reschedule it, of course. But it's tough for everybody involved, really, isn't it? Whether it's the circuits or the clubs, and there's no easy solution for anybody. Yeah.
Unfortunately, really, they are looking to reschedule those lost meetings, most likely in November. So we're all going to descend upon the racetracks when the snowman's coming out, get cold as crap, and slide everywhere again. It's great, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Because to be honest, lads, you three should be quite happy with that because you did it enough last year. You've got the practice. So,
Well, our last round was in December. Unbelievable.
exactly.
Yeah, should we not?
December.
You imagine how that affects the budget when you're trying to buy Christmas presents and go racing at the same time.
No. That's an easy choice.
What? Hang on, Nick. No, we're not doing neither or. That just gets everyone in trouble.
No, it doesn't. You go racing, sod your family. You don't need to buy them presents.
Bring them with,
They get to go camping every other weekend.
yeah, bring them with you. That'll be their Christmas present. There you go, done.
That's it.
Family trip out.
Yeah. Those are family weekends away.
Exactly. Right, Sam Pearce. Who insured a stolen car? Well, no, we assumed it was insured before it got nicked.
Absolute idiot, Rob.
Hang on, lads. Before we drive off on this, let me go and go compare quickly.
Go compare.
Can you imagine it?
Or Skinner's wheels in this case.
Yeah. That was one highlight of the year, finding out that Nick is insured with Sheila's wheels.
I'm not anymore, funnily enough.
Was that after the piss taking we gave you?
Have we just stumbled across a a niche business idea of insurance for stolen cars?
Have you had your safety car stolen in the last 10 minutes? Cool, Club Racing UK for a quote.
Could you imagine that? Oh my God! You go bankrupt within 5 minutes. You know, you insure a stolen car. Pick the phone up after 5 minutes. Turns out my car's been nicked. Funny that.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take a break from the news. We'll go back to some comments. Paul Harvey, evening Muttley, referring to me. Thank you, Paul. Great double win at Alton on the Sims after bouncing back from a tough race at Silverstone. Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. We've had some good fun in the COVID Clio Cup, haven't we, Alex? Well, you haven't, but anyway.
Ooh.
It's only because I will not have a chance to lead a real. I would not have a chance to lead a real championship, so a sim one will do for the moment. Okay. Jonathan Morris.
Hold on. Whoa, rewind. Why wouldn't you lead a championship, Rob? Have faith in yourself, boy.
We'll see after 2 races, Nick. We'll see after 2 races. Jonathan Morris. I asked Santa for race parts. I always get trolled to Foxtrot Oscar. I think he means fuck off.
Bloody hell, Rob, it's 8:10.
Starting early tonight, Rob.
Oh, okay. Sorry to all the viewers out there that enjoy swearing, but yeah, Foxtrot Oscar. We'll go back to that. You didn't hear the other.
And there's minors in this podcast as well.
Yeah, there is.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is, Nick, isn't there?
No, I'm not getting into that. Seriously, if we get into that chat now before 9 o'clock, we'll be off the air permanently. We'll just cut it there.
No racing for us ever again.
Exactly. Matt Cleary, it will be in a container. I think he's referring to the cars. They'll be in a container on a ship. Happens quite a lot now, unfortunately. It does seem that way. But let's be honest, a positive of Brexit, it will be delayed, so it's probably still in Colchester Harbour. Or, no, Colchester don't have a fucking harbour, does it? Felixstowe, that's it. Yeah, that'll do.
You are on one tonight, Rob.
The next comment's brilliant, Rob.
Yeah, I've just seen that next comment, Sam. Thank you. His splitter would lead it before he would. My splitter would lead the championship. Okay, let's go on with some more news because this podcast is going off on a tangent this evening. Gary Preble has won the Autosport Award for Best Club Racer for his 15 club wins this year, shared across Hot Hatch and Castle Combe saloons, as well as outings in the 750 Hot Hatch series. 4 of those wins he achieved in just one day at Castle Combe. Yes, Nick.
Can I just say something? I am so glad that an actual club racer won that award, because we had this on one of our shows last year, didn't we? That although they say it was the Club Racer of the Year award, there were some ridiculous nominees in there. So I'm actually well chuffed.
What, from like Britcar and? Okay,
No,
we're talking about it tonight. But Mini Cooper Challenge is part of Club Racing. We'll talk about that. But
yeah.
When there's stuff, when there's people from like Porsches and Ginetta Super Cup being called like Club Racer of the Year, it's like it's not.
Yeah,
it's really not.
But that's it. That's the thing, isn't it? We said that there's an absolute line, and a lot of the drivers were over it. So I'm well chuffed for Gary for winning that, because he's a genuine club racer. Well done, mate.
And he's local to me. Hopefully I can get down and interview him for one of my one-on-one podcasts coming up this year. Okay, the final bit of news. Track Attack Race Club have announced further plans for their 2022 season and beyond, introducing a new Audi TT Challenge, production-based and poised to run with the Deutschmarks. Further regulations are to follow, but I think it's going to be sort of based around the 270 horsepower Audi TTs. I assume they'll put together a package with all the safety gear, hair products, mousse, combs, hair nets, all the membership to the local Hairdressers Association.
They could just tie in with the MX-5 lot, though, couldn't they? So it's probably just...
You've just pissed off hundreds of thousands of people right there.
It's just good business sense, that is. Well done, Track Attack. That's good.
There we go. And finally, on that bit of news as well, the 206 GTI Cup, they've also released more information regarding that, supplying a few options to get you on the grid for as little as $3,000, even offering a turnkey race car for that price, or even less if you supply a donor. There is a couple of opinions that people have sort of shared about that. We will be covering that particular championship in a later podcast I'm currently writing. Probably about April time we'll get to air that one, so keep an eye out for that one soon. Right, now the three gentlemen have been sat here very patiently while we've whittled through the news, so let's talk about the Mini Challenge Cooper class. It's certainly something that's been quite interesting this year, and I'll tell you one thing, lads, I have missed out the news intro video.
I know, all that effort.
So we won't play that, but we will play the new guest's intro video. Check this out. Tickle, 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 tickle.
Look at this. Look at this. We got intro videos for sections on our podcast. Yeah.
I know. I forgot the news one, but anyway, we'll go on from that. But the best part of that intro video was me tickling Nick's beard. So anyway,
I thought that was a fluff on the front of the microphone.
No, that was Nick's beard.
That was the beard.
That was Nick's beard.
For the record, we should say that was pre-COVID, before anyone starts writing in and complaining.
Yeah. That was pre-COVID. Okay, so we're going into the Mini Cooper Challenge. I'll cover some comments off first because they are coming in thick and fast. James Stone Street, tonight on Rob's podcast, Ports of the UK. That's
You need to learn ports of the UK.
I will learn ports of the UK. In the second episode, I'll cover air travel, and the third we'll do the roads, whatever. Paul Harvey suggested a port where the stolen cars can go through. So if you've nicked a BMW X5 and a BMW 240i, contact Paul Harvey, and he'll be able to get it shipped out the country for you, courtesy of the Cray twins. There we go. So I've got 3 different script pages up for comments at the moment. Phil Neal joins us. Good evening, Phil. Jonathan Bevan. Evening, Rob. You've lost a script in 2 minutes. I lost it in 30 seconds, mate. It happens every time. Carl Hitchin joins us as well, and I'm sure we've got quite a lot of viewers, by the looks of it, on your various racing pages. So, the Mini Challenge Cooper class, the 3 of you have raced in it this year, and for the first time, it's been on a Toka package. So, I think we'll start with Bradley.
Go on.
How was it? Because this was your first year racing completely, wasn't it? A full season.
Racing cars completely, yeah. So I did 2 years of Super One karting back a long time ago when I was 13 and 14. But this was my first year of cars. It was a bit of a baptism of fire, to be honest with you. I mean, it is extremely close. I mean, it's like any one-make series, but because it's now on the Toka package and it is a legitimate avenue into touring cars, people are just doing things you wouldn't normally do, and it is really competitive. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to not be involved in things that happen. But yeah, it's mega racing. When the safety car doesn't come out, that's the only downside to it. Of course, there's a lot of safety cars, just not at Cadwell, obviously.
Yeah, I did see that quite a lot in the coverage this year. Alex, you've been on the championship for quite a while because you actually won the amateur class in 2018 with Super Tune, didn't you?
I did. In fact, I think that's the trophy right there. So I've been in it for a couple of years. Cooper Am in 2018 and Cooper Pro in 2019, and it was a massive difference in terms of the championship last year. It was like a completely new one. It'd always been very competitive and tight. I think in 2019, we had 10 guys in the pro class, and all bar one got a podium. But then, last year the grid effectively tripled in size, and I'd have said there were probably at least 15 to 20 guys each and every weekend who could have won a race genuinely. So it was ridiculously competitive, but a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And Alfie, you came to the championship from Junior Fiestas, if I'm correct.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So,
how was the transition for you?
Difficult. Definitely a big step up. Going from a junior grid to a senior grid, it's so much more competitive. The drivers' standards just increased. Well, I say driver standards increased, but most of them did. It's just such a different feel to drive in. It's just so good. Definitely the right move, and yeah, I'm glad to be in the mini challenge. It's definitely in the right path. So.
There we go. So we've got lots of questions and bits to talk about with all 3 of you. So we've got quite a lot of videos to go through as well. We've got one for each guest, and you're going to talk about your best moments of the year. But a little bit of an overview of the championship. So it's the Cooper class. It's had a couple of rounds on the Toka package last year, shown live on ITV4, but predominantly it's on the MSVR package. 1.6, 130 horsepower, H-pattern gearbox, control parts, but you're on slicks, yes?
We're on slicks, yeah.
So you mentioned earlier on, guys, so it's a good step up into touring cars. So for me, it would be Mini Challenge, Mini JCW, up into touring cars, yeah? Would that be a good ladder to follow?
I would say so, yeah. I'd say that's the avenue, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, well, I'll direct this I'll go towards Alex, okay? So when we talk about this line between the club, the National Elite Motorsport in Britain, right, is that what attracted you to the Mini Challenge because it's got that clear step now?
Yeah, it was always what appealed about it to me, even when it was just fully on the MSVR package, although it was quite a different championship at that point. Progression to the JCWs, and from there, people have been going to touring cars for a few years now. It did definitely make a huge change in 2020 with the Toka link up to be in a proper feeder series as opposed to just a very competitive club championship, I would have said. A lot more kind of career minded drivers as opposed to club racers who were taking themselves seriously. It was a big change last year, but it's always had that potential about it in terms of a ladder, and that's what appealed to us because it's just so well, it's the only car on the Toka package where you can buy spare parts from Euros for a start. So compared to Ginettas and that kind of thing, it's just a lot cheaper to run, a lot easier to run.
Well, you say that, Alex. You say about spare parts from Euros. A certain chap called Paul Harvey has messaged in and asked Alex, have you ever used a clutch from a bin? Tell us the story.
Yeah, guilty. It was the very first race of the year at Alton Park. Obviously, you've gone through that hype over the 10-month-long off season and everything. We'd done all the testing. We're feeling up for it. I think we're starting 6th or something like that. So it was okay. We had a chance. And then on the warm-up lap, the clutch failed. So I started the season from the pit lane. Didn't actually get to be classified in the first race of the year, which was a little bit annoying to say the least. But the bigger problem was we couldn't get a new clutch. There'd been some kind of supplier shortage or something. So Mini Challenge didn't have one available. I should say that's not normally the case for them. They are normally very good with it. But on this occasion, there was nothing they could do. So normally, of course, you then go up and down the awnings trying to see who else has got one. And I think it was Lawrence Davey had swapped one out the day before because it basically reached the end of its normal life. So kind of said, it's in a bin, you're welcome to it. So Carl dived into the bin. I'd like to imagine it was head first, but I don't know. Fetched it out and we got it fitted to the car. And it did the job, but nothing more. It was pretty horrible. Bad enough that I stalled trying to get out of assembly area. Never mind about a race start. Every time I downshifted as I brought the clutch back out, it let out a massive bang. But I just figured, as long as it kept doing that, then that was a good thing, and I needed to worry more if it stopped making the noise.
Love it.
Well, that's one way of doing it, certainly. Sorry, I've just lost my bloody... So, great. Obviously, you three all raced under Graves Motorsport, and I understand a few of you guys are possibly going back with Graves Motorsport. We'll go on to that soon. What's it like working with those guys? Because they run a lot of drivers, very professional setup. Whoever wants to answer that question, go ahead.
The best team in the paddock, for sure, 100%. I mean, I've had very little experience in car racing, but I know a lot that goes on in motorsport generally, and I think we're all probably aware of what happened. And I would have said that they are absolutely fantastic. I think, I don't want to speak for the two boys, but I think they would probably agree. It's a professional team with a family vibe in there. It's run by two brothers and dad and a load of fantastic guys that do all the sparring on the cars. And it's fantastic. It's really great. We've got the best equipment, the best knowledge, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Brilliant guys. I think you guys would probably both agree with me, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely best team in the grid. I mean, anything we needed last year, they were there for us, not just like mechanic-wise, driver-wise. I mean, just everything we ever needed or wanted, just they were there for us 100%. Definitely best team. Yeah.
Fantastic. Anything?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with all that. I think.
Go. Sorry, Alex. Go ahead. There's a bit of a delay.
Yeah, there is a bit. No, I think they're both right. The thing that stands out to me about them is that they're racers, through and through. You get a lot of teams who are maybe a bit more interested in the invoice than they are the results, and that's not the case with these guys. They are there to win just as much as any of their drivers, and that's really all you need in the team, really, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic.
Sure, you're completely right, Alex. They are. And I just want to mirror that. They are there to win. They are there to win as much as we are, and they are behind us 100% the whole time. They want to win. That's what they want to be. We want to win. So synergy, I would say.
No, you were going to say something, yeah.
I'd almost say, unfortunately, we've not had the chance to race with the Graves team, but I've seen from the outside just how well they run it. Fortunately, we do the KAs, don't we? So they're always there with 4 immaculate cars, and as you said, everything's there for them. Top bunch of guys as well. I've been sat in their transporter, and I'm like, I don't even run with this team. But they've been they've looked after me. They've looked after Steph. Top bunch of guys.
They will. They'll look after anyone as well. I mean, I've been there on many occasions when someone, have you got this? Have you got that? Yeah, no problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. So that's how it is. Everyone's welcome. It's fantastic. Yeah. Really. It's just really nice, And like Alex says, it's about the results, not about the invoicing. It's just fantastic. It really is.
Nice. Fantastic. We've had a comment come in, which maybe the three of you could highlight as well. How is Mini Challenge keeping the costs under control? I assume it's gone from MSVR and gone onto the Toka package. You would assume straight away there's a cost increase with it.
I think Alex is probably the best to answer this. But I think the entry fees did go up. I think they're still going to go up. They're going up, I believe, this year again. But there's more rounds on the package. So whether that's the same price as before, I don't know. You're quite restricted on tyres, on slick tyres. So at a round, you're only allowed 2 new slick tyres, which would be the fronts. If it's wet, you've got a problem because they're not restricted. So you can have as many wet tyres as you like. So new set every time you go out, really, with the wet. But they're restricted on. It's not expensive to run. Like Alex was saying earlier, you can buy all the bits pretty much from Euros. Lots of the stuff you can get off other minis as well. So you can get it off the road cars. You can just get it from standard places. It's when you go up to the next level to the JCW where it's much stricter. A lot of the parts have to come directly from Mini Challenge. That's where you get big money because everything's set. Everything has to be official, and this isn't like that. So in that way, you can go on eBay and get yourself a bit of bodywork. If that's the case with it, plastic on it or whatever, you just get one online. Simple as.
Exactly.
We did it this year a couple of times.
That's pretty good. Alfie, how have you found? Oh, gone it.
No, I was going to say, while we're on the subject of cost, roughly, guys, how much would a Cooper class car cost?
I think Alex would be the better one to answer that one. Go on, Alex.
You try not to add it up, don't you? I think we're all in the same boat. Mate, I would say off the top of my head, I think you're probably looking at about 30 to 40,000 for the year. So it really depends what you're comparing it to. Then obviously compared to a lot of kind of full-on proper club racing, that's not cheap by any means. That's quite expensive. But when you think, I would imagine that's kind of what, half to a third of like a Ginetta GT5 budget or a junior budget. So at that point, with the Toka package, it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. I mean, Alfie, how did you find there was a difference from being at an MSVR meeting to the Toka package in terms of how people drove and just how the field sort of dealt with it in general when it comes to basically anything from driver nerves, how the paddock was set out? How much of a difference was there?
I'd say it's quite a big difference, not necessarily with driving standards and how people reacted with the nerves and stuff like that, but definitely within the paddock, the way sort of people presented themselves, because obviously the cameras are on all the time. I mean, we had to be wearing our masks the whole time, even when it wasn't the touring car rounds, but they were even stricter then. It just everything, all the rules are just everything was so much stricter. But I wouldn't say anything with driving, but definitely within the paddock.
Okay. Right, well, we'll talk a bit more about the series at the moment. Alex, we're going to start with you because you have got probably one of the best onboard videos to look at a certain event. We couldn't get the external footage from ITV. Obviously, there's copyright infringements. But there was a particular moment at Thruxton into the last chicane when it went from 3 million cars into 1. And luckily, Alex provided me with an onboard view of that, and we should have the footage if we could just view it.
that looks so much fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay,
Oh,
Alex,
wow.
talk us through it, Alex. Come on.
Well, I didn't
still
actually
there?
get to see that. Was that the one where I'm on the outside or the one where I'm in the middle?
I think that's the one where you're on the outside.
Yeah, I'm still here. Okay, cool. Yeah, that I can't even tell you what I was thinking because honestly, not much. It was definitely the initial part is a bit easier than it looks in a way because of course all the cars on the inside are slowing each other down, so you don't have to worry about out braking them so much. You're just braking at your normal point, and they're having to brake earlier than you. So yeah, you had to go where the gap was really. I think I wound up giving Alex J a bit of a shove, which I got in a bit of trouble for afterwards because it was quite a hard hit. But I was kind of completely off the throttle as I approached him because I could tell it was a bit of a speed difference between us. But yeah, kind of just positioned myself there, and then Alex had his accident with Paniota in front of me, which worked out even nicer for me. Just kind of went in ninth and came out third, not fully understanding how it happened, to be honest. Yeah, it was just right place, right time.
As you do.
Just, yeah.
It's kind of you kind of had a juggle of cars, give them a good shake, chucked them in there, and just like, right, let's see what comes out the other side. Luckily, you managed to sort of appear semi in one piece.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I entered that chicane sideways. So I was on the far right hand side in the middle of the toe. I'm pretty sure I entered it sideways. So yeah, bit of a scary moment. But
I was going to say it was good fun then, Alfie.
yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
Okay, so back to Mr. Nevill. So tell us about your year this year. So it was your first year with Graves. Back in the Cooper Championship, you finished sixth overall, sort of semi-tied with fifth. You were just separated on, I think, was it overall sort of results or anything? You were same points, but they had to split the difference.
Yeah, same points. So it'll be some kind of count back. I haven't bothered reading the regs enough to know what the count back was because I'm just an idiot driver. That's what the team are for, and they're great at it. Yeah, it was. On the one hand, it was a really good year. On the other hand, it could have been so much better. Our pace was always there. We were always up the front, fight for wins, fighting for pole positions, etc. Which, in a grid as competitive as the Coopers this year, was no mistake. But we had little kind of niggly problems throughout the year, like the clutch and so on, that held us back a bit. If there's one kind of downside with the Coopers, they are so basic that they are just a converted road car as opposed to a straight up race car. So it's kind of being abused within an inch of its life, and it's not necessarily what it was intended for. So you do get little issues like that. Everybody gets them. We've just had more than our fair share this year, unfortunately. So we had some kind of electrical glitch at Snetterton, where every time I put my foot down, the car would cut out and I'd have to restart it. And that happened to us when we were leading race 2. So things like that kind of went against us, but you can't really control that. And everything that was within our control was good. So I'm happy with the work we put in.
Fantastic. So you've had quite a good year last year, set of challenges, but you've come out with a very positive attitude about it. So what's your sort of aspirations moving forward? Are you looking to go into JCWs, move on up the TOCA package, or where do you sort of want to head?
Yeah, I feel like I'm ready for the step up. I would love to have been able to say that I'm Cooper champion now. That would have been great, and we definitely could have achieved it. But I think there's more for me to gain now from trying to make the step in the next category, as opposed to going back just to try and win it. So yeah, obviously JCW is the point. That's the ladder the three of us are on. So that's really what we're working towards here. Nothing confirmed just yet. It's still very much a work in progress. But yeah, if we can do that, it'll very much be a learning year, I think. They're complicated cars, they're difficult cars, and there's some very experienced drivers to go up against in it. So it would have to be going in with eyes wide open. I think you need to give that a couple of years, and then really touring cars is the obvious step from there, really. But yeah, we'll see where we wind up.
Okay, so we've actually had a couple of questions incentive. So, how have you changed as a driver, both on and off the track, as you've progressed through the ranks, sort of from Cooper Am, Cooper Pro, and sort of trying to move forward? What's changed for you?
Yeah, so I think Sam Pearce made a comment earlier, and I think I said it to him at one point. In a lot of kind of club racing stuff, all really is show up and drive faster than everybody else for 15, 20 minutes, and that's enough to take the win. Easier said than done, of course, but that's all you have to do. In comparison, when you get to what was Cooper Pro, or even more so now in Cooper Trophy, that becomes kind of irrelevant because everybody's a good driver, everybody's rapid, so it then becomes more about not just driving faster but driving better. So the techniques, working on the setup changes, and your racecraft as well. It's not just about carving your way through a field anymore. It's about defending your position, and managing situations a bit better. So yeah, it's really things like that, to be honest, and just learning to handle race weekends that aren't going your way. In Cooper Am, we had I think 6 or 7 guys on the grid. It was really me and Andy Godfrey for the championship. I think between us we won all bar one race. So I knew that if I could beat him, that would probably win. And then when I went to Cooper Pro, guys just like that to get up against, and now this year 19 or 20 of them. So at that point you kind of have to stop worrying about everybody else and just start focusing on getting the most out of yourself at all times. I'd say it's just more about executing things a bit better as opposed to just turning up and enjoying.
Okay, I've had an interesting quote that I want to pitch to the three of you, so I'll ask each of you in different. Leon Gorham has asked, what team would each driver pick in the BTCC to drive for? Alfie, I'll start with you.
I think I'll have to go with yeah.
You have to go with who?
Accelerate, probably. Yeah.
The Hyundai. Bradley?
I'd probably agree, actually, with Alfie on that one, I think. I'd have to think about it long and hard, though, but I probably would. Seeing how Accelerate run at the mini weekend, they're very, very, very professional, both the touring cars, rather, and the minis. They do run very well.
Alex?
But that's of the current pick.
Is Cole to buy me a BMW an option, or?
That'll be my answer, Alex.
I think go with...
if it isn't,
if it isn't, go on.
If it isn't, I think West Surrey have probably got the best team and the best car out there on the grid, and I think the one to watch for the future is probably the Toyota guys. Now they got a bit more manufacturer backing behind them, so either one of those really. But there aren't many touring cars I'd say no to be fair.
Nick, I saw a wry smile there when he mentioned Toyota. I wonder why that could be.
I don't know. Why? I'll put this now. I'm sure Sam Smelt is a lovely guy and a very quick driver, but he has a funny name. So that was the banter. That was the banter name. It was always, Sam Smelt, Jason Plato. So yeah. So that was the exciting bit about this morning's announcement. The shock that Butcher went to Toyota, and then it was like, Sam Smelt's back. We got more piss taking to do. Anyway, moving on. We are a bunch of children, aren't we?
Yeah, literally.
Pretty much.
Oh, dear.
Okay, Bradley Gravett, this is your life. Not quite, don't worry about it. But we have got a video. We have got a video of a Mr. Bradley Gravett bossing the overtake at Snetterton in the wet. Let's have a look. That was quite cool. Fair play. That was
Well done, that man. That was a good move.
We weren't having a very good weekend that weekend. That was Snetterton was about it was a few days after. It was the weekend after Thruxton, and we'd had quite a lot of contact at Thruxton. Actually, of no fault of our own. I had a big off final complex. The car behind me had full brake failure. Spun us around and put us both in the barrier.
Was it Alex?
Yeah.
Just give you a bit of a nudge.
Thankfully not, no. But it done a lot of suspension damage that we didn't realise, and we didn't have enough time to turn the car around. So, being that, I mean, it was the wettest I'd ever driven at Snetterton. I mean, it was just unbelievably wet. And what was happening, the rear suspension was actually twisted, and the damping wasn't working correctly. So, in essence, I was like three-wheeling everywhere, if you like, when you think about what was going on. So I was driving on three wheels, and I couldn't get the power down. I couldn't get the car turned in, and yeah, that was the first race. And I was oversteering everything. The car, generally, they're quite good cars. They're quite predictable, but the car became completely unpredictable, and I wasn't able to drive. So I was well happy with that overtake when I managed to land that one. Really, really pleased.
Fantastic. So let's talk about your season. So it's your first full season of car racing. So how has it been for you?
So it started off really well, actually. So we started at Alton Park, and I think I qualified. I think it was 8th, which was absolutely fantastic. So at that point, I thought, great, I'm going to win it. So the first race went really well. We like I say, we started 8th, we finished 6th. My first race in the car, my first ever standing start. So I was pretty happy with that. Race 2 wasn't as good there. I got that was the day, that was Alton Park there. Race 2 wasn't so good. I actually got taken out into the third corner, Cascades, I think it's called. Yeah, there's a bit of an over-opportunistic pass by another driver, put 3 cars in the gravel, and from then really it's sort of been downhill from there with my season. I mean, I've always been quick enough to be up the front, but unfortunately, what's been happening is I've always managed to get myself tangled up, which has probably been my biggest learning thing from this season, being a one make. And as I said before, people are sort of taking risks, and I'm getting, every single round I've been hit or knocked off, and genuinely they haven't been my fault, but I've been there. So you have to think to yourself, how do I not be there? So in Prof and Donington, I played try and avoid everything, and actually it went really well because I didn't get tangled up in so many things. But every round I was hit by someone, or genuine no fault of my own, but I was there. So I'm driving it. I think being disappointed at me. So you just got to work out how I can avoid that in the future. That's sort of it. So that sums up my year in the minis. But like I say, I'm quick enough. I think Thruxton was good for us. We qualified 4th, so it was a grave second row. I think Alex was 3rd, I was 4th, so that was great. Neither of us had the best start in the world, but so we're there or thereabouts, and we're just sort of, as Alex says, the best of yourself, and the best of myself this year is learning to not be involved in things, because it is painful, literally.
So what is the plan for, what is ultimately this year? Is it graduation into the JCWs? What's happening?
Yeah, we're looking more towards JCWs this year. That's what we're shooting for. I think I've got to start making the way up towards touring cars. Obviously, the name that's where I need to be in the touring cars. So we're aiming for JCWs. In terms of the cars, yes, I've driven a JCW. I tested one at the back end of 2019. There's no comparison. The only similarity is literally the badge on the front and the back. That's it. I mean, it is an absolute beast of a car. It's not that much slower than a touring car. I've not driven a touring car, but I've been told it drives like a touring car. It does feel like it drives like a touring car. You really have to know what you're doing in one of those cars. There's a lot of setup. We talk about the Coopers this year. There really isn't a great deal you can do on them. You've got a bit of suspension adjustments, you've got toes and things like that, but ultimately they're all the same. Everyone runs the same setups, and that's it. In the JCWs, you've got a lot of different things that you can do to the car, lots of damping adjustments, lots of different things that you can do. And I'd like to think with Dad, Rob Gravett's my father, as you guys will know, but if you're not watching, he is. He's very good at setting up cars. So that I would think is an advantage to myself, and that's what we're shooting for JCWs, and of course on into touring cars. How long we're in JCWs for, I don't know. I wouldn't want to hang around that long, but we'll have to see. Have to see how it goes. Obviously, I've got to be quick. I've got to start winning races. Simple as.
Fantastic. Great to hear. Now, you spoke about your dad there. Obviously, coming onto the show, we want to talk about yourself, but it is impossible to kind of miss that your dad is Rob Gravett. the elephant in the room is that when you've got a dad that's a 1990 British touring car champion and one of the British motor racing legends, how has it been? I mean, to be fair, that's probably one of the best races for you was possibly getting to race with your dad in the KAs with Graves.
I mean, that was fantastic, and as you can see behind me here, it's my Oliver Taylor painting. You guys will probably know Ollie. Yeah, that was back in 2019 at the Enduro KA, and I think you guys were there as well, weren't you?
We were.
It definitely was.
So what that was quite special. That was Dad got a phone call from a mutual friend of ours. You know, do you want to do a race? It's for charity. We were doing it for a charity at the time with Grave. They were supporting the charity, and Dad said, yeah, no problem. But I kept nagging him, and I said, look, Dad, I want to drive. And lots of things had led up to this. You know, I had tested the JCW prior to that. I was trying to raise budget, but it wasn't really going anywhere. And out of the blue, he got this phone call. Anyway, we went testing at Brands Hatch. This was about, 6 weeks before the event. And Dad went out and set his time. And I went in the car. I'd never driven Brands Hatch. I'd never driven a racing car. I went 2.5 tenths faster than him. Within What? Yeah, so it was after that really that we then did the race in the Enduro case, which was absolutely fantastic, and I really rate that series. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I've done 3 races in there. Alex has done one himself as well, and it is absolutely fantastic. But I mean, having a dad like that, it is tough. There is a certain expectation as to your as to what one can achieve, and it goes both ways. It's both positive and negative. Yes, it opens doors, but at the same time, it can close them. Literally, it's tough. There's a lot of expectation to that, but again, there's a lot more, I would say, advantages, and I'm happy to take those. So it's been a great help this year. It really has.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned there about Alex racing in the KAs as well. Now, Alex doesn't like to mention this a lot, but apparently they were part of the team that was the most penalised in KA history. Can you confirm, Alex?
Tell the story.
Was it in Alton Park by any chance?
So it was indeed, yeah. So it was myself, Brad, and Michael Lyons. And I'm sure Brad will agree with me whilst we were on air that it was definitely entirely Michael's fault, and it's a real shame he's not on here to defend himself or correct me. But yeah, we managed to pick up 12 minutes worth of stop go penalties for track limits, all for track limits, and we still finished what I think. Oh no, sorry, it was 9 minutes. No, it was 12 minutes of stop go penalties, and we still finished within 9 minutes. Sorry, of the race winners. So if we had just kept it on the circuit, we would have won. But I was thinking actually earlier. I remember you texting me midway through the race.
Yeah.
Not Cascade. It was the first chicane. I found a little bit of dirt just to the right of the right-hander. And I thought, I'm going to go through that. So by the end of my hour and a half stint, it wasn't just a mound of dirt anymore. It was an absolute ditch. To be fair, they were absolutely right to give us every penalty for track limits because we definitely did it. But I didn't get one through.
To be fair, that bottom chicane before the climb up the hill.
Lethal in a way.
To be, I can sympathise with you, Alex, because Stefan really took the piss cutting Cascades. He nearly cut half the circuit off. I don't know what he was up to, but we'll move on from that.
These things happen, don't they?
I just remember you. I just remember you texting me, Rob, partway through the race with a picture of our car in the stop-go box. Yeah. And asking me whether or not I knew that was not our pit box because we spent that much time in it. And I think, to be fair, I'm proud to confirm that because Brad had most of the penalties, and weren't you quite good bits with the marshal there by the end of the day?
We were like, I probably went. So what basically happened is that Michael was doing all these penalties. So when I got in, they were sort of letting them slip, and then when I got in the car, you just had to slightly go over the white line, and I was getting pulled in like every lap. Alex on the radio to me, come in, stop. I started getting really friendly with the marshal that was timing me. We're like buddies. He had me on Facebook, and everything's great.
and that just proves it again, ladies and gentlemen. Club Racing UK, you make friends even when you're getting penalties. Right, couple of
yes.
comments, just a couple of comments for everyone. So we've had a few that have joined us, obviously from the Hard Compound and other British touring car groups. So love their support races on there. Rich Hoyt asks, is it possible to put a timescale on making the leap from minis to the British Touring Car Championship, or is it entirely due to backing and investment?
Yeah, I
2
think it all
years.
depends. You said 2
Let's
years.
put a figure on it. 2 years.
I'd say it depends.
Go on, Alfie.
I mean,
I think the only
Go on, Alex.
Well, yeah, we'll go Alex and then we'll go Alfie. Go on.
you said put a figure on it, but the only figure on it is what 300-400. That's all it takes to get into touring cars. It doesn't really matter about how long you spend in Coopers. You need the money first and foremost. You know, and if you want to do it properly, then I'd say you probably need at least 2 years in both. Really, to my mind, you know, a year in both to learn it, and then a year to do it properly. So each level, and then you're probably ready. But then some will do it in 1 year, some do it in 3 or 4. Drivers different.
Okay.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I think it's exactly the same. Like, it all depends on different people. Obviously, budget plays like such an important role in it. But yeah, for me, I reckon maybe another year in minis. I don't know. I think it just depends on each person. And I think at the minute with COVID and everything, like, money's never been more tight. And trying to raise budget whilst everyone else is on a budget, it's just difficult. So yeah, I think it all depends on it.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, that's going to be the challenge, not only for national racing and elite racing. It's just racing in general is going to be this COVID's going to stop at some point, and then there's going to be a bit of a crunch when we all pay for it. So we'll see what happens there, I suppose, chaps. Back to some comments.
Just sorry, Rob. I'll just jump in before you start with the comment. I bet it must be quite frustrating for you lads, especially if you're working hard, really, you know, trying your hardest to climb that ladder legitimately and raise the budget. Does it not frustrate you when someone with a bit more of this just goes straight up?
It is incredibly frustrating. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and that's it. You know, it is tough. And funny enough, me and Alex were talking about this not that long ago. And I mean, the amount of time I'm a full-time marketer. Really, that's what I do. You know, the driving is, I think, 5%, maybe less. The rest of it, 95% of what you're doing is raising the money to go racing. And the only thing I've been doing, I mean, obviously this year and for a lot of last year, is trying to raise money to go racing. Me and Alex came up with a figure, and I can't remember exactly what we decided, but I think it was around 40 hours of work for 1 hour on track. You know, that's the amount of time that you know I'm putting in. I'm full time every day. You know, early starts, late finishes, trying to get budget, trying to work on things, working with sponsors, working with partners. This stuff doesn't happen by itself. You know, it's tough. And you need people around you to support you and help you, which is again why Graves is so fantastic. You know, because they are really quite supportive. And everyone around me, my partners, my father, he's very good with me as well. And, you know, everyone around me, it is tough. It's very difficult. And it is, the answer to your question, yes, it can be frustrating when people just jump straight in and they're in an F2 car and then they're in an F1 car. That's it, simple as. It's tough. And
it's the way of the world, unfortunately.
It is. It's the same. It's the same in lots of different things, though. It just is what it is. That's the attitude you have to have.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not like football. You know, you can't just be good at racing. You have to pay to get to it. You know, I get lots of people asking me, how do you get going to racing? How do you get going to racing? And I hate answering it because you just pay. Simple as. That's it. You just pay. Loads of people, you know. I think the perception is that it's a bit like football, and you start in your club, and then you progress to the Premier League, and then, you know, you get up and you get signed. It doesn't work like that in racing. Maybe with a few drivers, but not really. Everybody is paying. Whether they're bringing in personal sponsorship and earning money off the back of that, they're all paying. Everyone. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Lawrence Stroll. If you can't get a drive,
but I think
It's true.
Yeah.
Go on, Alex.
No, and I just think, I try not to get too down about it because, it's tough. But, you know, at the end of the day, the way I try and look at it is anything involving a race car is probably a pretty elite first world problem, really, isn't it? With everything else going on in the world, I'm not going to spend too much time. I can't afford a touring car.
That is very well said right there.
Yeah, I suppose we're just kind of doing this to keep everyone going in lockdown, and yeah, you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. There's kind of bigger things going on in the news, so fair play. Jonathan Bevans actually commented, "Well said, Mr. Gravett." Obviously, there's a lot of people in the groups, and let's be honest, whether you're club racing or national racing, we all pay for racing. It's obviously for you guys trying to make that step up. The money increases the higher up you go. For me, it's how much timber I buy to build my splitters. For Nick, it's how much he buys when he crashes his cars, and Stefan spends an absolute fortune on hair products. It's the budgets in club racing are out of control. It's unreal. David Graves has a question for Alfie. Does he think that in 2021, now that he's passed his road driving test, will this help you go faster on track?
I actually think it will, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, as well.
Really?
And myself now. So.
Now you mirror signal maneuver.
Yeah, that's it.
I was doing the wheel shuffle. 10 to 2.
Yeah. 10 and 2, 10 and 2.
Get some P badges for your race car, Alfie.
So I was really lucky to pass it. I'd done my theory on a Tuesday, and I booked my test on the Thursday for the following Thursday on the 18th of December. So I'd managed to pass it all within a week, and I didn't have a lesson until I booked my test. So I managed to get 2 lessons in. That was it. So I was really lucky to do it, to be honest. A bit of
That's
fun.
impressive.
Did you get the 3-point turn nailed?
Yes, I did. Well, no, you don't have to do it anymore.
Really?
No.
What?
And my manoeuvre was pulling into a bay. But I tell you what, I'm going to completely embarrass myself here. I got a minor for going too slow.
There we go.
And then he laughed.
So the answer to Dave is no. You're not going to be faster.
I think it will, but yeah.
Well,
But I think,
funnily enough, right? Funnily enough,
I think what's impressed.
Go on, Alex.
Sorry, Rob. I'll stop doing that at some point. I promise.
It's
I think
all right.
with Alfie is he's managed to go from his Legoland license to his full driving license in like a couple of years.
Go on,
Love it.
Alfie, you wear that Legoland license with pride. You've got to earn them bad boys.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes. So the next episode, we're actually going to talk about the kind of car loves that you have that are a little bit unusual. So from that, I'm going to ask the 3 people here today, starting with Alfie. What is your first car? Road car?
A Mini 1. Yeah, so.
That's bloody
Of course
cool.
it is.
Well, I'm hopefully going to get a new car before we go racing because I fancy keeping my car in one piece. I don't get home from the race meetings, so yeah.
Bradley, what was your first car?
I had a Range Rover.
What?
Yeah, I thought you'd do that. No, I had a smart car, believe it or not. I had a Smart 4.4, which is basically a Mitsubishi Colt 1.1,
Oh, wow.
bigger. That's it.
No.
Oh, wow.
Only smart owners would say, "Oh, it's a Mitsubishi, really."
It's actually
That's
Oh,
almost
dear.
as bad as Rob saying that the ST170 is going to be a classic one day.
Oh, for God's sake. They've wrote articles about it, Nick, just because you own a Bradford taxi. Next. Alex.
Never
Right.
be a classic.
So technically, I had 2. The first one I actually drove on the road was a Vauxhall Corsa that I kind of bought on finance. Had a black box, all the normal rubbish. But before that, my dad got me I think at the time it would have been like 23 years old, and it was a Vauxhall Nova Saloon. That
Yes.
had done 10,000 miles
Yes!
since new or something. Yeah, it wasn't what I had in mind when he told me he was going to buy me a car. And you know, I was only like 14 or 15 at the time, so I didn't really appreciate it like I should have. Now I'd probably appreciate it a bit more, but yeah, that
What
on
a
the driveway
car.
for a couple of years and didn't really do anything. It's the first car I tried to drive.
Did you roll
What a
it?
car.
Did you roll it?
Okay,
No,
You
no,
didn't?
I've only rolled the one car, believe it or not.
Yeah, flashback.
Okay. You've only rolled the wrong car. Fair play.
I love how he should have rolled more. What's the... you've only rolled one. Amateur numbers.
Those are rookie numbers. You've got to pump up the numbers, yeah, especially when you get to JCWs. James Stone Street, don't be hating on the Vectras, Rob. But to be honest, right, James, I love Vectras. I love any race car, but there's a little bit of banter between me and Nick because, as we know, Nick absolutely loves Fords, absolutely adores them. Got posters up on his wall, you name it. And I love his Vectra. It's a well-built car, but we just take the piss out of each other, and he drives a Bradford taxi. Anyway, moving on.
There she is. There she is.
Oh, I could just see the taxi sign on the top, mini cabs.
It's a nice Clio, Nick.
Just for the record, the Clio's losing.
You sure wasn't lapping you?
No, he was definitely not lapping me. No,
Rockingham too. Rest in peace.
Oh, what a place! Just for the record, actually, they weren't even in my class, but they were the only things I could keep up with. So, but as all the Hondas had fucked off somewhere else.
Oh yes, it's past 9 o'clock now, so we can all say fuck. Anyway,
you're underage.
Yeah.
Alfie can't. Actually, we're going to have to round this up in a minute. It's nearly bedtime, surely.
So we move on finally to Alfie Glenie. So 17 years young. You've raced previously with the Fiesta Juniors, and we've got a video from you at Thruxton, absolutely licking the stamp and sending it. If we can just play that tape. Jesus! That is mental.
And you have only just passed your driving test, man.
16 then. Yeah, I was still 16 then.
That's impressive.
That is some seriously good driving. Fair play. And again, it shows just how close that championship is. So fair play to the three of you. So tell us about your year.
Just for the record, I want to have a go. If anyone wants to put me in a Mini.
There we go. So again, this is the second one of the year. So if anyone has any Mini Challenge Cooper class cars that they want to send Nick Holmes into and they can afford the crash repair bill, give Nick Holmes a bill.
There won't be no crash repair bill. Just trophies.
I have one available for hire, Nick.
Oh, yes, Alec does.
Maybe we should have a little chat then, Alec.
It might have
I can pay in Haribo and Cuddles.
Bet you can.
Ditch the Haribo and that's still.
Right, let's do it.
There we go. Okay, Alfie, let's come back to you. So you had previous with Fiesta Juniors.
Yeah.
So you were 16 years going into 17 years this year. How was your season?
Overall, really good season. Just took it as a learning year. Just took everything as it came to me, to be honest. Had no expectations. Just excited to go racing. I mean, such a long wait. I think, like Alex said earlier, it was like 10 months or something. And to start a season in September is just ridiculous because you're sort of like ending the season within a month or so normally. And I think all the anticipation just builds up and builds up and builds up. And you're just so excited. You just want to go out and drive. I mean, especially then, I couldn't even drive on the road. So I just took the whole year as a learning year, and to be honest, it was such a good year. So yeah, it was good.
Fantastic. And I'm also told as well that you need to stop playing with knives. What happened before the last round?
Right, I'll clear the air here. I actually haven't mentioned this. Well, not many people know. So basically, I recently moved house in summer, and I was putting a mountain bike track in my new garden, and I slipped with a saw. I managed to cut through. I don't know if you can quite see. I'll show you. But I managed to slip through my main tendon in my thumb. Yeah, so
Oh wow!
I had to go to East Grinstead to have plastic surgery in my thumb, so I missed out the last round, but not a fun time. Yeah.
Wow.
What a treat.
Massive treat. And what is the plan for 2021? Are you staying in the series or are you looking to make the move up?
We decorate his bedroom.
Not sure, really. I mean, I think going the way, I'm not sure the way I want to go to. Obviously, touring cars is the end goal, but I think the ladder might look a little bit different for me. Or maybe look into the Porsches. Probably not this year, maybe the following year, 2022. Either that or JCW. So, I mean, it also just depends on budget. I mean, I'm still at school. I'm just doing my A-levels, so I finish up next year. So it depends what sort of time. I mean, after sort of finish school, I'm looking to really push on my racing and focus on that. I mean, like Brad said, like 5% of it is the driving, and 95% of it is like finding the money. I mean, just working on yourself, just to, I mean, present yourself to people and just doing stuff like this. Really, just getting yourself out there. And I think from doing it from such a young age, you just sort of build it up over the years. So I think just keep focusing on what I'm doing and really working for it.
Fantastic. Well, good luck to you. We'll certainly be tracking how you three get on in the next couple of years, certainly, and hopefully we'll see all three of you on ITV4 full time. You never know. So back to some comments.
Just remember when you do get to ITV and you're all famous and stuff. Just remember us lot.
Yeah. Just give the Club Racing UK podcast a shout out. You know, sort of give the old gang signs and everything. We'll know it's you.
What is the gang sign? What is the gang sign?
I don't even know, Nick.
You got
You know.
No, we're not cool like that. Unfortunately, we're not cool.
Just double horn it up for us.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bit of that.
Why not?
Okay. Right, bear with me. I did save some comments for all three of you because there were some really good comments. There's one question for Alex. Well, it's actually for the three of you. How many front ends did the three of you get through in total during the season?
Oh, Brad?
He asked you, Alex. Come on.
No, that's a question for you.
I think altogether we did maybe three.
Around.
Three each.
Three each.
You know, I did three, they did none.
just actually, for the record, boys, you're all under the same outfit, so I'm pretty sure Boss Man will get hold of us and let us know the actual figure.
Yeah, I'll send it. Go on, Alex. Go on.
So I'm pretty sure, and I'm sure Carl or Dave or anybody else would go out their way to tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I didn't go through one. But I'm guessing that's because I didn't have much in front of me.
I might have done one. I lost 2 acres at Fructon. We managed to find a track walk, didn't we, Alex? That was fun. We spent Fruxton.
Oh, we did, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I think I might have. I don't even think I've done one either. Definitely a few scuffs, but no, I don't think I've actually done a front end.
Okay. Leon Gorham has actually just come past and gone. The secret handshake is tickling Nick's beard. We'll go with that.
No, yeah, it's not.
It is. It's fine. It's soft. It's fluffy. It has.
If we can make that a thing, that means everyone can tickle me at paddocks. I'd like that. I like attention.
Except Alfie, he's underage.
Like that.
Yeah, except Alfie is underage. David Graves actually commented, Alex's car is exactly as it started the year.
What? The clutch is broken? Get on and fix it, man.
There we go. So that's David Graves going to be after Nick Holmes quite soon.
That's pretty much just sealed my deal with Graves.
That's just sealed it. Literally, the next time you go into the paddock, Dave's just going to come at you with a bat. But he's also put hashtag tickle Nick.
Yes,
that is the new hashtag tickle Nick.
Let's make it hashtag Nick tickle Nick.
Yeah, we'll have that as the
Hashtag
official.
tickle Nick.
That is the official podcast slogan now. Hashtag tickle Nick. We'll go with that. Right,
I like that.
Maxine Nichols actually joined us. Sorry, we're not ignoring you, Maxine. She's currently going through her ambassador paperwork to send off for the ambassadors, which we will be covering in a moment. She commented on Alex's video saying that we've had points dished out for less contact than that in our MR2 series. I think to be honest, because it's on the Toka package, does that kind of give you guys a bit more license to be a bit more fruity, or
No, not at all. There seems to be a disparity between what's allowed in contact and what isn't, because there is allowed contact in Mini Challenge because there's been contact that's been allowed and it's been put down to racing incidents, and there's other contacts that's been hardly anything. You've had points. But there's huge disparities, even though the clerk remains the same. It's very strange. I don't understand it myself. But
Alex, what do you think?
It depends on the viewing numbers.
I think that. I think, to be fair, depending on what contact video she's referring to, the people involved might well have got points. I think at least one person in that clip did get points, but I could be wrong on that. If not, they got at the very least a big telling off. And if you look at the championship standings, anybody there who has had points deducted, that normally means they've got penalty points for that as well. So I think there's a couple of guys there who are quite high up on that.
They did points.
But yeah, you get. I want to say it's 10 points deducted for every point on your license. So if you get 3, for example, if you're say Brad, 30 points deducted. I think.
Brad, would you care to elaborate on that?
yeah, I got points at Thruxton. So I came out of the last chicane and they all stamped on the brake pedal and I didn't have the line of sight and I rear-ended somebody big time. That was the first front end I did. And I came out and it was the angle I was at, I just couldn't see. And it was a genuine accident. I ended up with 3 points. And yet there's been other contacts throughout the year that has been avoidable, definitely. And I've been on the receiving end of it and points haven't been given out. I can't answer the question. I don't know. I don't know what is and isn't all right.
I've just remembered I have done one front
But
end.
My favourite part.
Go on, Alex. Go on.
My favourite part of that story, Brad, is that the guy you hit was the banger racing world champion, and you managed to out-banger race him.
And with it,
love it.
he was all right. He's now a teammate, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that Lee Pearce?
It is, yeah, it was.
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay. Fantastic. So you've done one. So hang on. Let's get a running total here. So Alfie's done 1 front end. Alex is 0. How many have you got, Brad?
2.
2. Okay.
It wasn't my fault, obviously.
That's what Nick says every time.
So the winner of the Graves Motorsport, honestly, it's not my fault, front end replacement championship, so to Bradley Gravett. Well done.
Hey, well done.
Not my fault.
If Carl and David are still watching, fair play. That was for you guys. And honestly, I know Frank Frostick and Sam Pearce and a few of the other mechanics have tuned in to watch you guys tonight. So
I just want to say they all did a great job putting it straight. So well done, guys.
Smooth it over.
A good job putting it straight. How many times?
Yeah, just
Oh, I think we got one.
I think we got one. Right, so.
Oh yeah, because I went through my window when I done mine. Do you remember at Snet when we was testing? It was pouring down with rain. I had my window as well when I hit the barrier.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you hit the barrier sideways, didn't you? And did your window?
No, I was sort of sideways, but head on.
Yeah, it kind of went in like that, didn't it? So this is strange. We were at Donington at the start of December, and there's a video of it somewhere actually. And I went down from fourth to third, and my driver's window shattered. It was the weirdest thing. I didn't even hit anything. And the window just went into the car. It was the weirdest thing. You know what you see on cartoons when opera singers sing? When you look at the footage, when it's the high note on the downshift, it just popped my window. It's horrible. Glass.
No way.
Worried about my suit getting ripped, you know? Nightmare.
Bloody hell. Frank Frostick also said lots of lying on the floor in the rain, but it needed to be done. So there we go. Fair play. Maxine Nichols also comments, I got a massive load of disciplinaries chucked at me for hitting someone that had pretty much stopped on the apex on a hairpin. Have you been getting driver training from Nick?
Oh, come on.
It was like that one, wasn't it?
I was going to say he was a bit slow to that one. So
I was a bit. I was like, hold on a minute. And then, I do remember that one.
And then the flashback went to
He was a back marker. He should have got the blue flag. Get out of the way.
And you should have listened to me when I told you that. And you should have told me. You should have listened to me when I told you you're going to get a penalty, but wait until they call you in for it, and don't just waltz in after the safety car. Anyway, we move on.
Look. We all live and learn. Okay, I'm still an amateur racing driver.
Does the blue flag mean that the person overtaken or lapping should make their way safely around the person? It's down to the person who's being lapped, isn't it?
Yeah, not when Nick's involved. Send it.
No. Me. Move them out the way.
Yeah. They don't move quick enough. He moves them for you.
Send it. Go on, Alex. Go on.
Once they've done driver training with Nick, do they get training on safety car? Once they've done driver training with Nick, do they get training on safety car etiquette with you, though, Rob?
Yes!
Touche! Yes! I like that.
Thanks, Alex.
You do get that on the course, and you also get training on how that chuffing XR2 needs to catch up to the back of the fucking safety car queue. Anyway, moving on.
Still doesn't mean you can overtake it before safety car line, then, does it, Rob?
Yeah, I know it doesn't. Yeah, small. Hey, at least I got points this year. It wasn't in a championship, but I got points. You look at the positive. I'm a glass half full kind of person. You know what I mean? But Maxine has commented back. Right, she blames Nick. Hers was a back marker, and she got told she got points because I should have known better. Well, Maxine, to be honest, you do spell trouble. You know, just we've met you a couple of times. You're nice enough, but you do look like trouble. Let's be honest.
Bloody hell, Rob.
Well, she knows.
That's a marker on your head for the year.
No, that's fair enough. I'm used to getting abuse shouted at me, and that's before I even turn up at the circuit. Looking at the comments, Phil Neal has suggested a reach around. That's for the X-rated version of the show after 10 o'clock. A reach around. I think he's on about the secret handshake.
Oh. One where we were going there.
There we go. Exactly. Right. From that, so we've finished all the questions. Thank you for joining us, gents. Hopefully you'll stick with us. We're just going to announce some brilliant competitions. Nicholas.
Hold on. I have a question for our guests.
Okay.
Obviously, we are Club Racing UK, and we like to be the umbrella that brings all of club level motorsport together. That's what we do. For you guys that are making your way up the ladder of the mini ladder, what would your advice be to drivers looking to, eventually reach the touring car goal? What would your advice be?
I think the main thing is just believing in yourself. Like, if you put in the work beforehand and you've prepped hard enough, just believe in yourself, and having that confidence in yourself is the main thing. Because I think that's something I've always struggled with, like coming through the ladder. I think I always used to prepare, but I never used to do it properly, enough. And sort of like last year, I started improving on that. And I started seeing such a big advantage, just having that confidence in yourself and just knowing you sort of have that ability in you to be able to do it. And that's definitely one good thing, just believe in yourself.
And I think I'd mirror that, Alfie. I think my advice would be that if you're really, really serious about it, you've got to commit. You can't half do it. You've got to commit. And I don't just mean with the driving, I mean with the financial side of it. As we spoke about, it all comes back to the money. You've got to commit. Whatever that means for you, it's different for every person. But if you want to progress up the sport, you've really, really got to do something about it because it won't come to you. You have got to go and get it. You have to go and get it yourself with whatever sport you can find. But you have to make that first thing because you've got to commit and do it. That would be my biggest advice.
Nah, nice, good.
Alex?
Yeah, I'd be pretty much the same as those. I suppose the three things I'd say is, as those guys said, don't give up, first of all, ever. Network every day. Don't ever underestimate the power of being the guy who knows a guy. And the opportunities you have instead of bitching about the opportunities everybody else has. Unless you're the millionaire already, there are going to be people with better opportunities than you, but you can't control that, so just make the most of whatever you've got.
I'll agree with that, Alex. Well said.
Wise words.
Fair play. Maxine
Nice.
actually comments, the main thing to remember is points don't make touring car drives. I suppose at the end of the day, it relates to that. If you haven't got the Mulan to pay for it, then I think, to refer back to your dad's era, I think, your dad struggled through, even when he won the British touring cars in 1990, he struggled for budget, did he not? So there's always been that issue there.
He would say this. He would be the first person to say this, and what he would say now is that with racing, he started when he was very young. He was actually motocross. He was on bikes, champion, and he ended up hurting himself. So he stopped really quick on that. So he went into motorsport because when he did it, he did it because he loved it. Then he did it because he loved it and he got paid. Then he did it because he got paid. And I think that's the problem now. All of the drivers are paying. It's very, very different to how it was then. You had you look at the Super Touring. He was backed by Ford. Okay, you've got a bit of Toyota stuff going on, but there's not a great deal of proper manufacturer support as there was in the day. And it goes back to, the points that I was making about, you've got to commit because it isn't going to happen. It doesn't matter how quick you are. If you don't have the budget, you're not racing. That's the end of it. There is money. You've got to take your own money, and that's the hardest thing because, like Alex says, you are up against some guys that, you are potentially better than, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of club races, as quick as all of we are, and I'm sure they'd be quicker than a touring car. But it comes back down to this ongoing problem of budget and finding that budget. But Dad struggled in the 90s with that. He did he had an unbranded car, so it was always difficult whether they were going to pay the bills, and they went up against the big boys and they beat them. And it was a big thing at the time. It was a big deal. And even today, I get people writing to me on a regular basis how much they loved that particular year. 89 and 90 were some of the golden years, if not the golden years of touring cars. And you could argue that the RS500 is the car that actually did that. And that was an animal. You've probably all seen it's just come up for sale again. Come on the market. I've been shouting about it because I want to own it. But I was talking to someone who rebuilds them, and he was saying it's like going from 200 horsepower to 500 horsepower in a blink of an eye. That's what it's like, and you've got to be able to deal with that. They were unbelievable cars. Unbelievable. So much quicker than what we got today. So much more power, no grip, good racing.
Fantastic.
Animals.
Heroes. But I would say that I'm slightly biased, but they were proper. Big engine, no grip. That's it.
Fantastic. And it's up for sale now. So if you've got a Sierra RS500, Nick would love to race one, I'm sure. There you go, Nick. Got you another drive.
No. I would, yes, but it'd probably kill me.
Yeah.
They'll probably kill you after you stop getting a wall.
But that said, just to clarify, I will be racing Rob's Focus this year. So that, is pretty much on par with an RS500, isn't it, Rob?
Same badge on the front, I'll give you that.
Same badge on the
more
front.
Aero.
Loads more aero.
I want to know who's starting the race, though.
I don't know, actually. We'll have to work that out near the start. It depends who's starting in your Mini, because we'll have to work out. I've reinforced the front crash bar, so we've just got to work out who's going to go through the driver's side of the Mini.
I don't think that's happening.
What, into Redgate via the grass? Anyway, moving on.
It was Graham Hill, actually. It was Graham Hill.
Oh, Graham Hill, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the thing. I'm letting Nick race my car for 2 races. The first time he tried it at a test day, I came from the pit lane after letting him go. He comes down the hill. First time he's out in the car. I look over towards Graham Hill, and he's got my car on full opposite lock going into Graham Hill. My arsehole was doing that.
On the grass.
Quite impressive, that.
Hold on. Your asshole was doing that. Look at mine. Your brakes were shit. Your shit brakes made me do that.
Yeah. That's it. Nick Holmes, blame the car.
No. No one in the history of using a brake pedal needs to pump it about 50 times before it actually does something.
Cold brakes on a bias pedal box. You do have to give it a few taps, Nick.
They weren't cold, Rob.
Oh yeah, true. I've run out of it. I've run out of excuses. I'll blame the aero.
Yeah.
Right, moving on, because we have a new introduction video for the competitions.
Oh, let's see it. There you go.
That was a good soundtrack.
Gorgeous.
I was. I just
Okay.
realised as well, where we've missed the news one out, it missed the best part.
Oh,
well,
yes,
we'll have
it
to-
has. We're going
we'll
to
have to
play
say-
that. No, we're going to play that at the end of the podcast so you can hear
Yes.
the end part of the video. You will like this. But we'll start off. Club Racing UK are currently running their competition still to win £300 towards a race entry fee.
Yes, we are.
We are indeed.
When do the entries close, gents?
The end of March.
Fantastic. So if you want to enter in that, get yourself a membership. Go on to the Club Racing UK website, which is...
Coming
On
along
the
down
screen,
here.
Scrolling along. Hang on. It's going. There it is.
Well,
There we go.
there it is. Do. Follow it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Follow it across the screen. So a bit like Oxfam, it's 20 quid for the year or £2 a month, is it not? £3 a month.
Yeah.
£2
Yes,
a
it's £2 a month. £2 a month, £20 a year. You get automatically entered in all the competitions. Currently, it's £300 off your race entry fee for the first one, but there'll be many more. Also, it gives you loads of discounts off many of our partners. So it's well worth checking out.
Just for the record, we have 39 partners on board that all offer our members discounts. So
All
jump
to help
on,
with club
take
racing.
advantage of it.
Exactly. And Nick is working hard to get 30 more members onto the partnership scheme so we can have 69. Moving on. The ambassador scheme is currently in place.
Nice.
Look,
Nice.
it's
That's
after
proper.
9 o'clock. I can say,
Cover
sorry,
your
sorry,
ears, Alfie.
I don't
Yeah.
get it. I don't get it.
It's just Rob will explain.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I think it demonstrates
No.
if you ask him nicely.
No one needs to see that from Rob.
Whereas Alex
Out
is
of the-
under Rob, they could demonstrate together.
Oh,
God, no.
man,
I'm not.
I feel for you, Alex. Woohoo.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Stefan, maybe you could show that with Nick.
Oh no, it's in our special time only, I'm afraid.
Special time. Nick's going to try anyway. Okay, let's get back to
Stop being so crude.
the serious business.
Yeah.
Maxine Nichols has actually said she was impressed at the discount list as well.
Good.
Nick is Nick asking for a Mini?
He's asking for any car with four wheels, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he's asking for any car with four wheel. But David Graves said that. So is there a possibility?
Only if it's free. Because Nick doesn't pay for anything.
Look, I'm working on budget just like these gentlemen are. If something comes up, I'll 100% try and be there.
You've got the SNEP 12 hour and the K8 to sort out first, though.
Maybe. I've won that. I don't need to do that again.
Whee!
There we go. Okay, so going back, Club Racing UK have launched their discount scheme, as anyone knows, but the entries close on January the 31st. So you've only got a few days left. The three drivers will
Ambassador.
actually... Ambassador, yeah.
Ambassador and ambassadors.
Oh, it's just one. It's not three drivers anymore. Is it one
It's
or
still
three
three.
drivers? It's still three, right? Okay. Well,
Still three.
I've got limited information to put on the script. The three drivers will be announced on the next podcast, which is, of course, the 10th of February.
Ooh.
And Nick and Steph have also been busy posting throughout the week their various partners involved in the ambassador scheme. Are you at a position to reel them out tonight or not?
I am, and in fact, I'm going to I'll probably break the internet a little bit. I will announce all of our partners this evening, but you will get announcements throughout. There's only 2 more to go anyway. But so far, in a nutshell, we're going to support 3 drivers for the year. If you are interested, make sure you sign up online as a member, and then just send us a little bio as to what your 2021 plans are. We're not looking for, Nigel Mansell racers, someone who's raced for all their life and won everything. We're not looking for that. We're just looking for genuine people that will like to benefit from our support and our partner support. And the partners that we have on board with us this year we have All Square Wrap and Ride, we have Rocked It, we have Nick Jackson Drive Training, HRX, Pole Position Prizes, Keep Well, Scruffy Bear Pictures, Uncle Luke's, and Wired GoPro are all on board with us this year.
Fantastic. So thank you very much to the partners in conjunction with
thank you very much, guys.
And thank you much, everyone, for contributing. Bloody hell, try and get your words out, Robert. Contributing as partners with Club Racing UK, because after all, the reason that these gentlemen do it and that I do this podcast is for the Club Racer, by the Club Racers.
We do have to say a massive thanks to the partners that have got involved with it. It makes a massive difference to us and everyone else. So, as always, we'll be giving big shout out to everyone and getting them on the podcast and everything throughout the season. So, it'll be fun.
Yes, it definitely will be.
There we go. So, without further ado, we've actually made it a decent time this week, chaps. It's about an hour and a half. Any other business? I should say this
as well. Yeah. Buy a Club Racing UK calendar. Look, guys, I've got 3. I've got 3 of these. I've got 3 of these left. They're fantastic. Oh, look at that guy! Look at those guys, race winners. But yeah, a great calendar. You should definitely buy it. A massive shout out to Uncle Luke's for the calendars. I've only got 3 left. Please buy the last 3 because I don't want 3 out-of-date calendars in my house. So you can also buy hats, T-shirts, hoodies.
A lot.
Go buy some stuff, please. All the money goes back into the club anyway, so...
Maxine Nichols has asked, is it naughty? You don't want to look at Nick naked, it's just hair. Although I wouldn't know that, but I'm told it's like a Yeti. But
that picture's quite naughty. That's
very naughty. That's quite a horny picture. So yeah, that just leads me on to any other business, gents. If you want to shout out any sponsors. Oh, Nick's showing his boobs on the pit wall.
There's boobs in the calendar too.
I'd like to, Rob. Actually, I'd like to shout out one of my sponsors, who's one of your partners there. Pole Position Prizes.
Yes.
Very very good to me over the past. I've just actually signed a deal with those guys to see me through the next couple of seasons, which is absolutely fantastic. For anyone who doesn't know, Pole Position Prizes runs prize giveaway companies. Go and check them out. And they're actually giving away my dad's own personal Subaru road car, which is like an absolute spaceship. So go and get some tickets because it is going to be someone's. I'm going to give it away. And I'll be really upset to give it to someone, but it is going away. You get yourself a Pole Position Prize and get some tickets.
What do you reckon the insurance would be like for me then on that?
Not worth it.
Not going to happen.
I was going to say about 100 grand. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, judging by the sounds of it, we're going to go into insurance for insuring stolen cars. So we'll let you know, Alfie. I'll get you a quote. Just come and steal it.
Come and steal it, and then just sit on the drive just while you guys are stood outside like, hello, I'd like to insure this stolen car, please.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to take off.
Alex, any other business, any shout-outs for you, my friend?
Nothing I can think of because I'm still yet to announce kind of partners and everything for this year, unfortunately. So ask me again in a couple of weeks. But thank you to you guys for having us on in the first place. It's been an absolute blast. Appreciate being a part of it.
Fantastic. And of course, we're not ruling out at all getting you guys back on later this year or the beginning of next year. So don't worry about that. if you fancy declining it because by that time you're all racing for accelerating the British touring cars, we understand. But hashtag tickle Nick.
Don't worry, I got a long
Hashtag
memory.
tickle Nick.
Fantastic, Bradley. And I'm sure, guys, we will see you in various paddocks around the country when this COVID buggers off and we can go back to do some racing again. Alfie, do you have any shout outs tonight?
Do please. I'd like to thank Acorn Plant and Tool Hire. My parents' business has supported me all the way from karting up till now. I've got a few new sponsors that hopefully coming on board this year. We've got Green Box Recycling down in Kent, South. So yeah, it's looking good. But I'd like to say thanks to all of them, and thanks to you guys for having us.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Fantastic. Any other business? The gruesome twosome.
I
No,
haven't got any
I think
for this week, I'm afraid. Maybe next time.
no.
And
All I'll say is this one. I'll just reiterate, guys. If anyone does want to be involved in the ambassador program, you've got until Sunday midnight. I'm going to cut it off, and then we will be announcing in 2 weeks' time our 3 chosen drivers along with our partners.
Fantastic.
We need some theatrical music for that bit, I think. No?
We should do, shouldn't we?
I think we need to. Well, the only thing that's left, we need to play the clip that we sadly forgot about at the beginning of the show and try and work out why we needed to play this clip so much. So if we could just play the news clip.
A little bit of wee in the end of my knob.
That's news.
Every time.
That's news.
Every time. Come on.
That's
Everyone's
news.
it's got to happen every single time. You're just about to go
Come
out
on,
of the assembly
Mike.
area. You're like,
Go on,
I
look.
need
That's
to
it.
know.
While everyone's here, who's been sat in the assembly area and gone, oh shit, I need a pee? Come on, hands up, hands up. We've all been there, surely.
every time.
Yeah.
Every time. So there you go. That's our little newsreel.
There we go, guys. No worries. Well, on that note,
And on that bombshell.
On that bombshell, and you will see that news clip again next week. I've been your host, Robert Lewis. The Gruesome Twosome have been Club Racing UK's Nick Holmes and Stefan Marsh. And our 3 fantastic guests today from Graves Motorsport, we have Alex Nevill, Bradley Gravett, and Alfie Glenie. Good night, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Really
Good night,
good.
everyone. Bye so much.
Cheers.